What's up traders, welcome to Failure to Displace. In this video we're going to take a look at this morning's London session, both at the Pound USD and Euro USD, where I took entries in both of the macros. Macro 1, I took a pound entry which bagged a nice 2R, and then into macro 2, this isn't an entry that I actually took, but I did highlight this and narrate this in real time. A potential entry netting currently over 6R on this one. This video is going to be slightly different to my normal videos. Instead of going through on replay mode bar by bar as I usually do, I've recorded both of the macros in real time, so you're going to get my live analysis as I was spotting these entries and how I would have been managing them in real time. I'm going to be really interested in your feedback on this one, so please do leave comments letting me know if you prefer this style of real-time analysis as the session's playing through, or if you prefer the faster paced bar by bar analysis using replay mode. So please do drop the video a like. Be sure to leave a comment down below letting me know which style video you prefer, replay mode or lifetime analysis as the session's playing out. And consider subscribing as well if you're enjoying this type of content. So with that said, let's jump into both of these setups now and see how they presented themselves. So here we have an execution on pound dollar versus the Dixie. Again, we had SMT at this point. Pound putting in a lower high, whereas the Dixie was dropping off with lower highs. Sorry, lower low, and the Dixie was putting in a lower high. So it's SMT. So this is showing strength in the pound, weakness in the dollar. We had an inversion fair value gap, closed through on this candle. The entry was at the retest of the fair value gap. Relative equal highs. That's an initial draw on liquidity. One hour. Just not been tapped yet. Into a bearish fair value gap, 1 minute bearish order block. Dixie obviously is dropping heavily at this point. The euro is pumping heavily, so with the euro and the pound being directly correlated, you would expect the pound to pump at the same level. This is a point where you could potentially go break even here, having taken that liquidity. I do think that the best trade management for these is just to run for 2R and just let it do what it does. We do have a gap. Which is actually quite nice, a nice volume imbalance here to be filled. Towards the end of the macro at 3. And use this as a breaker. Got a lower, higher high, lower low, we've traded through, therefore this is a breaker with a fair value gap in it. That is a unicorn. On the 1 minute, so you would hope or expect that breaker to hold. So you could move the stop loss at least below the inversion fair value gap, half in the risk. Breaker's being respected, fair value gap being respected, so strong move. All that. So I want this. Aggressive now, going for that volume imbalance. I'm still figuring out the best way of trade management on these. I do think just set and forget 2R is probably the safest. Why is the stop loss not right? The stop loss should be 1.95, so we want 2. Volume imbalance at the high, trading through this order block. Euro's still pumping. It's still dumping. It would be definitely break even at this point. I wouldn't let it run back and take me out. So if this did come back, I would go break even. You can in fact roll your stop loss up into profit at this point. Maybe put an SL there. Create a little order block there actually. So with it ending, I mean, you almost at 2R. I would definitely just close out manually at this point. Probably run the stop loss right up to there. Wouldn't allow it to come back. Again, it's another order block here. There we go. Is it 2R? Beautiful. So we've had SMT on the euro here. However, we've engineered a lot of relative equal lows. So I've not taken this trade. See, euro was putting in higher lows. Dixie was putting in higher highs. So we would have expected lower lows on the euro. Closed over this large engulfing bullish candle. However, we had an inversion fair value gap here that was disrespected. Fair value gap here that was disrespected. And a fair value gap here that's disrespected. So we're not showing inversion fair value gaps are being respected. The potential entry would be a tap of this, stop loss below this low, looking for 2R. Now has it hit? The entry only would have been valid on a close of that or a tap of this. So we've come back and we've just tapped the inversion fair value gap here. We'll be tempted to take a profit as we take that swing high because of these relative equal lows. Dixie has got relative equal lows here, relative equal highs, sorry, and then Dixie has developed relative equal lows there. So hopefully the Dixie will drop to take out these, which will propel the euro up to take out these. As I say, this has me concerned. We're inside a large 1 hour fair value gap and balanced price range here. I've got bearish inefficiencies with bullish inefficiencies at this point. We're inside a sensitive area. 50% has been tapped several times of that order block, of that fair value gap. Once we swing that high, if I was in this trade, I would be going break even. So this is SMT. So Dixie is dropping now. We've taken those highs, so it did play out. So this would now be break even. I would move my stop to break even. Still holding for the 2R. So the Dixie has broken that low at the same time. Now we've got bearish SMT at this point. So we've taken this high on the euro. We've failed to take this low on the Dixie. So that's bearish SMT. Again, that's why you would want to be going to break even very quickly. There's not a lot of follow through by the looks of it, so this may come back be a break even trade. We will monitor it just to see if it does hit 2R, if I'd have just left it. Sweeping that high would have netted 1.2. So you would have got a 1.5 trade. Taking these highs into this order block. This is a valid order block. So you've got a 1 minute order block here. The 1 minute order block is validated, in my opinion, by the fair value gap that it created as price displaced away from it. So we came into the order block and then have rejected with bearish SMT. The pound is showing no signs of rallying. Pound is very weak at the moment. What we're looking at is we're looking at this order block is currently holding us up. Back into a fair value gap on the Dixie, having a rejection off that order block in that fair value gap. So the retracement could be done now on the Dixie. All of this is now balanced. This order block that we've just tapped, fair value gap inside the order block. So you're wanting that as a really strong reaction to continue lower now. Obviously we have swept the macro high already prior to this macro starting, so we could be drawing down to the macro low. The potential draw on liquidity. So which means that the macro high would be a target on the euro. Now we haven't swept the macro low on the euro, so it could go either way in all fairness. If the Dixie is going to drop, then our target would be the previous macro high. So still in the trade because stop loss break even hasn't been hit yet. Need to be aware of the wick on this candle. So wicks can act as fair value gaps, which means that this could potentially be a bearish fair value gap, 50% specifically. So we've come into the wick and we are rejecting. See if it wants to go and take out these highs. So we've essentially respected this order block, and we have now created another order block that we've closed above. So this bearish candle, another potential area of support. However, we really want to see some displacement higher now. At this point, you could move the stop loss just into profit by a little bit, cover any fees. We should be protected by this. Running high, watch this high. We run straight through it. Aggressive move into that order block again. So we're closed above 50% of the wick, which is a really good sign. Consequent encroachment of the order block, 50% of the order block, the area, so hopefully we can get a wick through to net our 2R. That's 50% of the order block just tapped. Our price is stalling at that level. There we go. So there's 2R SMT at the bottom. Closed over an inversion fair value gap. Bit of back and forth here. Move to break even once sweeping this high. Trade comes. That's a really nice trade. So potential 4R this morning. One trade on the pound in the first macro, and then in the second macro, another trade on Euro USD. They're really happy with that. So this system seems to be working really nicely. And just to close out the video now, that final trade on Euro did play out to take out the previous macro high, so eventually netting over 6R. So what an epic trade that was. I hope you found this kind of slower paced video, this narration through my trading session, useful. Let me know in the comments if you prefer this style video or the faster paced replay mode videos where I'm just going through price action nice and quickly, basically essentially highlighting the key points through the session. So let me know which you prefer. Fast paced, straight through on replay mode, or these session narrations through the macros. Really appreciate your feedback on that. If you did find the video useful, then please leave it a thumbs up. It really helped me out. Questions and comments, as I mentioned, drop them down below. It'd be great to hear from you, and do consider subscribing. I'm dropping videos like this every single trading day, and it'd be fantastic to have you on board. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.